gonna load up my 30-30 shotgun double-aught buck. Leaving the camp, I'm so excited. Bag my deer with a little bit luck. Stomping, snorting, don't be nervous. See big rack at a glance. Make sure I bring my toilet paper if I mess my pants. Out to the blind, out to the blind. At 6 o'clock in the morning.
Welcome to the Hunting Museum of Finland. My name is Ilja Koivisto, and I will tell you about Finnish American immigrants in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. I will tell about their hunting culture from the times of first immigrants to present. First immigrants who left Finland were miners from Norwegian mines who were recruited to Upper Michigan to copper mines around Hancock area. They arrived 1860s, and soon Finnish immigration exploded from Finland to whole Lake Superior area. Why the Finns left in Finland? There were certain push factors like overpopulation and long history of dividing agricultural farms, smaller and smaller units. First immigrants came from northern part of the country, from Lapland. But soon in 1880s, the most immigrants came from Ostrobotnian area from western Finland. This trunk is a typical suitcase the immigrants used when they crossed Atlantic. Most typically, these type of trunks were used immigrants who came back to Finland from United States. There were about 400,000 Finns who left Finland between 1860 and 1926. And some of them came back or visited America several times. And inside the trunk we see some items those immigrants leaving or coming back to Finland may have had in their suitcase. There were pictures from relatives, letters from America telling how wonderful life was there, steamship company tickets, some clothes, and some Finns may have had an original Finnish puukko knife. The majority of Finns arrived in northern Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. They didn't know English language and they didn't have much schooling. So where they could find work were the iron and copper mines of Lake Superior area. But life in the mines was hard and work conditions were dangerous. So many Finns seeked better life on the farms around the mining towns. At the start, the life on the farms was not any easier as in the mines. The first immigrants and pioneers had to rely on hunting. Agriculture didn't give much. And they were hunting deer with muzzleloader rifles like this. You load this kind of rifle by putting powder and bullet to the muzzle, and then tightening the load with the ramrod. And then you have a cap you put on here, and then you are ready to shoot. The first immigrants used traps and different kind of methods to getting game, and there were even professional hunters setting traps for fur animals and selling venison to the towns. When more and more immigrants came to the area, the game animal populations dropped down, and people had to rely more on mining and agriculture for livelihood. Early 20th century, people were doing quite fine on many farms. They had relatively large farms comparing to back home in Finland. For example, in Minnesota, the town of Embarrass, many farmers had fields as much as 60 to 70 acres. In Finland at the same time, 1910, average field size on the farm was only about 1/10 of that. But in 1930s, hard times were coming. Global depression hit hard on Lake Superior area, closing mines and cutting agricultural product prices in third. People on the farms and mining towns had to rely back on the woods. They went back to hunting and poaching to put meat on the table. White-tailed deer was the most important and still is the most important game animal in Lake Superior area. The first Finnish immigrants didn't know the animal because it didn't exist in Finland at the time of their arrival. But soon they learned how to hunt the deer and became very successful. They even fell so deep in love with the whitetail that they wanted to send some animals back in Finland to their relatives to hunt. In 1934, the first transport was made from Minnesota to Finland, and one puck and 4 does arrived safely on the boat to the Finnish harbor. Later in 1948, another transport was made, this time by air, to make sure that all the animals will survive the difficulties of the travel. The transport was successful, and now they shoot about 20 to 25,000 white-tailed deer in Finland per year. It's not much comparing to Minnesota, Wisconsin or Michigan, where yearly white-tailed deer back is several 100,000 animals. But considering that the most northern part of the Finland is too harsh and cold for white-tailed deer to survive, 25,000 deer shot in per year is quite good amount. After the Great Depression, hunting still hold a big part in Finnish American culture in Lake Superior area. In mid 20th century, the most popular methods of hunting white-tailed deers were still hunting and doing drives. Hunters used this type of lever action rifle. This model is 94 Winchester 30-30 deer rifle. It was one of the most popular deer rifle ever produced in North America, and it was the first smokeless powder hunting rifle on civilian markets. But the hunting methods have changed since 1950s. Land ownership in the Finnish American areas has scattered. Many Finns have moved away from the homesteads, and people from the cities have bought the properties as summer cottages and places to spend free time. Many city dwellers don't like hunting, and many areas have been posted. That's why hunters can't do the similar type of drives or still hunting they used to do around their home villages. What they have done, they have built deer blinds like this, where they sit and watch for deers to come on their fooding place. They place some apples and sweet corn or salt lick for the deer, and then they sit in the blind during the morning and in the evening trying to shoot the deer. And the equipments have changed tremendously too. There's a new type of clothing, blaze orange, camouflage, rifles, bolt action rifles with composite stocks, rifle scopes, and a lot of different kind of technical improvements. Then they are using calls to attract the deer, like rattling horns for imitating fighting deer bucks, or deer call imitating mature deer buck, or can calls imitating white-tailed deer doe. Also different kind of lures and smells are used, either for covering human scent or imitating, for example, female white-tailed deer estrus smell. The Finnish Americans have had a big influence in northern Michigan, Wisconsin and Minnesota culture. In some counties, more than 70% of population is having Finnish roots. The stereotype of a Finn is a quiet, stubborn man of the woods, who usually is a farmer, lumberjack, hunter, trapper or fisherman or miner. He usually wears a Stormy Cromer hat, checkered shirt, maybe has a little red neck, and does hunting, fishing, and maybe just a little bit of beer drinking too. This is the stereotype of a typical Finn or a typical dweller of northern Michigan, Wisconsin, or Minnesota. People in the area have taken this stereotype and made it as their own strength. Humor bands like the Yoopers and Konga Se Menne have written songs about hunting, fishing, snowmobile driving, and maybe a little bit of beer drinking too. And they have turned the stereotype to profit and local fun. Thank you for following us through northwoods of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
Gonna load up my 30-30 shotgun double-aught buck. Leaving the camp, I'm so excited. Bag my deer with a little bit luck. Stomping, snorting, don't be nervous. See big rack at a glance. Make sure I bring my toilet paper if I mess my pants. Out to the blind, out to the blind. At 6 o'clock in the morning.